You check your bank account. Again. It's the third time today, and the number still makes your stomach drop. You're saving, you're doing the right things, but no matter what the balance says, you feel broke. What if I told you that feeling isn't just anxiety? It's a condition. A real psychological trap that 43% of Gen Z and Millennials are stuck in right now, called money dysmorphia. It works the same way body dysmorphia does. You look in the mirror and see something that isn't really there. Money dysmorphia makes you look at your finances and see failure, even when you're actually winning. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what this condition is, what's causing it, why it's more dangerous than actual debt, and the 3-step system to break free from it for good. Stay with me. Section 1. What money dysmorphia actually is. Let me paint you a picture. You're 26, you've got $8,000 in savings, you're contributing to your 401k, and you have no credit card debt. By any objective measure, you are ahead of most people your age. But you open Instagram on a Tuesday night, and within 4 minutes, you've seen a 24-year-old buying a condo in Miami, a 27-year-old launching their second business, and someone your age taking their third international vacation this year, and suddenly, that $8,000 feels like nothing. You feel behind. You feel like you're failing. That is money dysmorphia. It's not about your actual financial situation. It's about the gap between your reality and the distorted reality your brain has constructed by absorbing thousands of highlight reels that were never meant to be your measuring stick. Here's what the research actually shows. A survey by Intuit and Credit Karma found that 43% of Gen Z and 41% of Millennials experience money dysmorphia. That means they feel insecure about their finances, even when their objective situation does not justify that worry. Even more striking, among those who reported feeling financially behind, 82% had more savings than they gave themselves credit for. Read that again. 82% were doing better than they thought. Their finances were not the problem, their perception was. And this matters enormously because money dysmorphia doesn't just make you feel bad, it changes your behavior. When you believe you're failing, you stop making the moves that would make you win. You get paralyzed. You do nothing. Or worse, you doom spend, blowing money because if you're already failing, what's the point? The feeling creates the outcome it was afraid of. That is the real danger here. Section 2. The 3 engines driving. So where does this distortion come from? There are 3 engines driving money dysmorphia in 2026, and I want to name them specifically because once you see them, you can't unsee them. Engine 1, the algorithm. Social media platforms are not designed to show you average. They are designed to show you exceptional. The algorithm rewards content that triggers an emotional response, and nothing triggers a response like someone your age who seems to have it all figured out. So, your feed becomes a highlight reel of the top 1% of financial outcomes, and your brain, which is wired for comparison, registers this as normal. You're not comparing yourself to reality. You're comparing yourself to an engineered illusion. Engine 2, vibes-based budgeting. Research shows that more people are now making financial decisions based on how they feel about the economy rather than their actual numbers. They wake up, see a scary headline about inflation or recession, and it physically changes how safe they feel with money, even if their personal situation hasn't changed at all. External noise becomes internal reality. And engine 3, and this one is painful, is the wealth gap you can see but not touch. And what I'm going to show you in the next section is where most people completely misread this engine and make a financial decision that costs them years. Baby boomers hold the majority of wealth in the United States right now. Millennials and Gen Z together hold only about 12%. That gap is real. But the mistake is letting visible inequality convince you that your specific next step is impossible, when the data says the opposite. The gap is real. The paralysis it creates is optional. That distinction is everything. Section 3, the real cost nobody talks about. Let's talk about what money dysmorphia actually costs you. And I don't mean emotionally. I mean in dollars. When you believe you're behind, there are two behaviors it triggers most consistently. The first is inaction. You tell yourself, I'll start investing seriously when I have more. You tell yourself the amount you have isn't worth doing anything with, so you wait. And while you wait, compound interest, which works for you when you act and against you when you don't, keeps ticking. Here's a number that should shake you. A 25-year-old who invests $200 a month and earns a 7% average annual return will have over $520,000 to $20,000 by the time they're 65. The same person who waits until 35 to start, they end up with just under $240,000. Same monthly amount, same rate of return. A 10-year delay costs over $280,000. Money dysmorphia convinced them the $200 wasn't enough to matter. The math disagrees. The second behavior is doom spending. If your brain is running the story that you're already failing, spending becomes a form of emotional relief. Studies on financial behavior show that when people feel hopeless about long-term goals, they dramatically increase short-term spending. The logic is brutal, but understandable. If I can't have the future, at least I can have the weekend. But the weekend compounds too. Not in your favor. This is why naming money dysmorphia matters. It's not a vague feeling of anxiety. It's a specific pattern with specific financial consequences, and the moment you recognize it, you gain the ability to interrupt it. You can't fight a ghost, but once you can see exactly what you're dealing with, that's when things change. Section 4. The 3-step reset system. All right, you know what it is, you know what's driving it, you know what it costs. Now let's talk about how to actually fix it. 3 steps, and I want you to start the first one today. Step 1. Run a reality audit. Open a blank document or note on your phone right now and write down your actual numbers. Not what you feel, what the numbers say. What do you have in savings? What debt do you have? Are you contributing to any retirement account, even $50 a month? Are you spending more than you earn? Most people have never done this. They've managed their finances by feeling. The audit replaces the distorted mirror with a real one. For most people, the reality audit is genuinely surprising because the gap between what they feel and what they have is not as large as their brain has been telling them. Step 2. Redefine your comparison group. You are not in competition with the top 1% of financial outcomes in your age group. You are in competition with who you were 12 months ago. Build a simple personal benchmark. Net worth last year versus this year. Savings rate last year versus this year. This reframe alone changes everything. Because it's a competition, you can actually win. Step 3. Automate before you can feel. The core problem with money dysmorphia is that it operates between your paycheck and your decisions. So remove those decisions. Set up automatic transfers to savings and investments that happen the day you get paid. Before the algorithm gets you. Before the vibes kick in. Before the doom spend can happen. Automation bypasses the distorted mind entirely and lets the math do its job. Here's what I want you to walk away with today. The economy is hard, the wealth gap is real, and social media is actively designed to make you feel like you're losing. But money dysmorphia is a perception problem, not a money problem. And perception can be changed with the right information. Do the reality audit. Reset your comparison group. Automate your future before your feelings can sabotage it. 82% of people who feel financially behind are actually doing better than they think. You might be one of them, and even if you're not, knowing the real number is always better than living inside a distorted one because you can only build from truth. If this video gave you something, share it with one person in your life who needs to hear it, and subscribe, because next week, we're going after the next lie you've been told about building wealth. I'll see you there.